So you're approaching a dock, say a pole dock. Sometimes the fish like the shade, sometimes they like the poles. I'm gonna go back. I wish Mike was in here doing his little sound effects, because that's what I envision when I come up to a pole dock. I've seen bluegill, just like Mike, sitting right on the poles eating the algae. And what do you think's under those bluegill? The one you want. So when you fish a pole dock, like I said, you kind of have to judge where you start on the time of the year. If you're around the spawn, pre-spawn, spawn, or right around the post-spawn, I would start at the shallowest pole on that dock, because that's where that fish is probably thinking about bedding. And I would go from there. And obviously I would fish the whole dock until I started getting a few bites. Every bite you get tells you something. If they're on the walkways and you don't get a bite anywhere else, then why would you fish anything else? You try to fish as many walkways as you can. And then you have to break it down even further. Where are they at on that walkway? Were they right next to the pole? How far apart are the poles? All of that stuff needs to be taken into consideration. If there's poles that's this close together, you could cover that with one pitch. If they're this far apart, it's probably going to take two. If they're coming 3 feet off the pole, you need to remember that, so you know they're traveling 3 feet to get it. Then why would you fish every 6 inches? Myself, I like to start pitching exactly right to the edge of the pole with that quiet entry I'm talking about. I can't tell you how many big fish, I call it skinning the pole. I try to make that algae come off the pole without hitting the pole. That's a difficult thing to do, but that's, to me, it gets me so excited when I make a perfect pitch and it lands without a ripple right next to that pole, and my bait starts falling on that controlled slack and I see my line jump. Man, there is nothing like it, because you know what's fixing to happen? That hook set. But all of that stuff, if they're coming a long ways to get it, you don't need to waste the time making precise presentations, but I think it's a good place to start. I tend to excel when that precise presentation is what's needed to get them to bite. And by making it hit the water softly, that gets that fish to react, and that's when you're going to catch your fish. But as you're working around the dock, ladders. I don't know why. Doesn't matter if it's a swim ladder, a wooden ladder. I've seen several occasions when the ladders were the deal. I mean, everybody's had to have had a bite on a ladder, right? Outside poles, key areas, just something different. You know, when you're breaking down a pole dock, just something different. I love fishing docks now. Floaters. I mentioned floaters over 100 feet. Floaters in shallow water is really not much different. I mean, you're just not skinning the poles like I was talking about. Floaters to me is more shade, dark. Those big fish like something to get around. They like something to hide. So pitching the jig between floats, getting it far back up underneath there. I mean, all of those things are things you can achieve with a pitching technique better, you know, more efficiently than any other way. So floaters is, I mean, docks are, I don't know what else to say. I mean, key on docks and you're going to catch some fish no matter what time of year it is. Those docks over deep water. I already had a question today. I got some, what do you do over 100 foot of water? Well, your line's not going to make it to the bottom. You can sit there all day and do this, and I've seen people do this. What do you think's going to happen if he gets it? I've never patterned them any deeper than about 10 feet under a deep floating dock. So what I like to do is I'll do the same presentation.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.